Students, we are given this question, integral 0 to pi over 4 dx divided by sine x positive cos x. Before we could proceed, I wish to show you that cos of pi over 4, we know the value to be as 1 over root 2. And also sine of pi over 4, we know the value as 1 over root 2. So to solve this question, we would be using this fact that cos pi over 4 is 1 over root 2 and sine pi over 4 is 1 over root 2. Now, I'm going to rewrite this quantity, integral 0 to pi over 4 dx divided by sine x positive cos x, as 1 over root 2 times sine x positive 1 over root 2 times cos x. Now, since I have multiplied by 1 over root 2, I'm going to place a root 2 there. So in other words, root 2 times 1 over root 2 would give me sine x. Root 2 times 1 over root 2 would give me cos x. So I have not done any change at all to the given question. Now, instead of 1 over root 2, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using the fact that I have shown you, that sine pi over 4 is 1 over root 2. So this is going to be rewritten as sine pi over 4 times sine x positive. Cos pi over 4 is 1 over root 2. So this is going to be cos pi over 4 times cos x. Now, you would have studied a formula which is cos of A negative B is equal to cos A cos B positive sine A sine B. We know this formula. Now, because we know this formula, the given integral can be rewritten as integral 0 to pi over 4 dx divided by root 2 times cos of a minus b. So in this case, you can take the value of a as pi over 4, b value is x. So this is how you can rewrite it. Now, you have to know integral 0 to a f of x times dx is equal to integral 0 to a f of a minus x times dx. This is a property that I would be using. Now, because I know this property, we now have, actually I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over root 2 integral 0 to pi over 4 dx divided by cos of pi over 4 negative x. So clearly, this can be rewritten as 1 over root 2 times integral 0 to pi over 4 dx divided by this property, this is going to be cos x. Now, we all know that 1 over cos x is secant x. We know this. So because we know this, this is going to be equal to 1 over root 2 times integral 0 to pi over 4 secant x times dx. Now, we also know a formula, that is integral secant x dx is equal to log of secant x positive tan x, positive constant c. This is a formula which we have studied. So, using that formula, I now have 1 over root 2 log of secant x positive tan x. The limits are 0 to pi over 4. So, I would be applying the limits. Applying limits, we get. So, when we apply the limits, what do we get? Substitute the upper limit, it's going to be 1 over root 2 log of secant pi over 4 positive tan pi over 4 negative log of secant 0 plus tan 0. Okay, you got this. So Now, I've already shown you, or in other words, we know this formula that secant x is 1 over cos x. So, secant x is 1 divided by cos x. So, secant pi over 4 is nothing but 1 over cos pi over 4. Cos pi over 4 is 1 over root 2. So, which means secant pi over 4 is root 2. So, this could be rewritten as 1 over root 2 log of secant pi over 4, as I mentioned to you, is root 2. So instead of writing this again, okay, just for sake of continuation, I wanted to just place it off. I don't want to make this scratch. So secant 0 plus tan 0. So this is equal to 1 over root 2 of secant pi over 4 is root 2. Now tan pi over 4 is going to be 1, negative secant 0. As I mentioned, you can use the same formula. Secant 0 is 1 over cos 0. Cos 0 is going to be 1. So that's going to be log of 1 positive. Tan 0 is going to be 0. So this is going to get cancelled out. So that would give us 1 over root 2 times log of root 2 plus 1. This is the solution for the question.